Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine on this Saturday afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Yes, look, it's been a little bit of a quiet day today, apart from a couple of Premier League games. Nottingham Forest look like they're going to sack their manager. I did say it before, Nottingham Forest sacked their manager. They sacked Santos. I thought that was a ridiculous thing to do. Absolutely, incompetence of the highest order. Getting rid of Santos and getting Ange Postecoglou in there. Postecoglou. When I think about losing that Europa League final, sorry to bring a downer onto this proceedings, guys, but when I think about that Europa League final last season and I think about Ange Postecoglou and all that, I'm like, my goodness me. How did we lose that game? Well, it is what it is. Guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put your notifications on, all that sweet stuff. It's Sunday, guys. Be giving a charitable Sunday. Just click the like on the video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, let's get straight into it. Of course, Manchester United won the game 2-0 yesterday against Sunderland, and it's good to see many fans, the majority of the fans, excited, a little bit giddy, a little bit happy. That's great, and that's what we want at the end of the day. We don't want any negativity, do we, guys? And I think that we should revel in these moments, especially that it's international break, and there's nothing wrong with being a little bit happy. Smile where you still have teeth. That's what I say in regards to life. But there are a few people out there, the rival media, the media in general, that are very, very kind of disgruntled by Manchester United's victory yesterday. Always bringing a negative into the proceedings, always talking about something negative about Ruben Amorim. Look, we get it. You don't like Ruben Amorim. We get it. I don't understand it. It's a bit like atheists. They always have to tell you that why God doesn't exist. And this is how I feel about these pundits and Ruben Amorim. They always have to tell you why Ruben Amorim is not a good manager, why Ruben Amorim isn't the right guy for Man United. Why? Look, what we have to understand, guys, what we have to understand, these people, these media outlets, they do not like us. It's very important to understand that these media personnel, they don't like us. Whether we've won 7 out of 7, right, or we've lost 5 out of 7, they will always find something negative about Man United. It doesn't matter. We could be winning all the time. We could be, going on record runs. They'll find something to bring a negative into proceedings. And media has always been like this ever since Alex Ferguson was in charge. And I remember when Alex Ferguson was here, and he fell out with the BBC. And remember that when the BBC was around, and he fell out with the BBC, and he never spoke to the BBC for a long time. And this is exactly what it is. So we're never going to be liked by the media. And I think it's very important that there are outlets out there going on Sky Sports, going on TalkSport, other content creators, and just feeding into their narrative. Have you noticed that the likes of Sky Sports and the likes of ESPN and TalkSport will never get someone with an opposing opinion to theirs? Because obviously the person with the opposing opinion will come with the facts, and they don't want to be contradicted on their multi-billion pound channel, of course. So they don't want to be contradicted on that. And I think it's very important that Man United fans understand who the enemy is. They understand who the enemy is. They understand what the intentions are of the people who are talking about Man United, talking about Ruben Amorim non-stop, saying he shouldn't say this in the media, shouldn't say that in the media, shouldn't do this in the media. Look, so we're trying to cancel people for actually being themselves. And I think that's wrong, because every manager should be themselves. Every manager shouldn't be a cardboard cutout of every single other manager. As we saw yesterday, the system was not a problem, as we've been talking about for months and months. System is not a problem. Obviously, you don't go and dominate the games against Arsenal and teams of that ilk if the system is a problem. And I do bring it into the quote from Glenn Hoddle today. Glenn Hoddle was speaking, and he said that he likes the system. The only problem with the system is that when you haven't got the ball, you got Bruno and Casemiro in the midfield, which is a problem. And that is an area of the pitch that needs to be fixed. Right. So when we've got the ball, we said he likes the way we play. He likes the way that we transition and we get the ball forward. And obviously Glenn Hoddle was no stranger to 3 at the back. He played 3 at the back for England, with England at the 1998 World Cup during his tenure, and probably one of the most performing England teams in my opinion. And I think if they beat Argentina, I actually think that England would have went on to win the World Cup in that year. Now, it's funny, isn't it, that the system merchants are not talking at the moment. The 4-3-3 merchants, the 4-2-3 merchants are not talking at the moment. Because the biggest problem at Man United over the last few months has been the midfield. And over the last year, I would argue, it has been the midfield. In fact, over the last couple of years, it has been the midfield. And we were screaming out for a couple of midfielders, one or two midfielders in the summer. And this is precisely why. Now, the fact that we can still win games with a makeshift midfield, with an aging player midfield in Casemiro, with Bruno, who's not a number 8, and we can win games quite comfortably, it does show you that the system does work. And it gives you a clue as to what will happen if Ruben Amorim had his own players in there. Now, I find it funny that the media have not spoken about the system this week. So they brought in something else today. I mean, over the last 24 hours, they brought in something else instead. They've started to talk about the press conferences. They started to talk about his match reactions, what he's saying in front of the media, and blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? And this is what they do. They'll always find something to be disgruntled about, look, we've stopped them from talking. Thank God for them, it's international break for them, because they can talk about England or whatever they're going to talk about, because we've stopped them from talking about Ruben Amorim all week now. And so what they're going to do, they're going to say, oh, I don't really like what Ruben Amorim said to the media. I don't like, do you actually think a manager should be saying those things? And rubbish like that. It's quite obvious that these players are playing for him. It's quite obvious that a lot of these players want Ruben Amorim to stay. They like Ruben Amorim. And I think it's up to us to support him. Look, we play Liverpool next. It's going to be a very difficult game for us. We know that. We don't need anyone to tell us how difficult the Liverpool game is. And this is where he's going to be tested, I mean, heavily, at Anfield. Liverpool have lost 3 on the bounce. They're going to be looking to get a win. I mean, I would have preferred Liverpool to draw the game yesterday. Would add a little maybe take away a little bit of edge to the game. But it's Liverpool against Man United. And as we know, with Liverpool against Man United, it's the greatest rivalry in British football, in my opinion, because of the success, because of the Champions League, because of the Premier Leagues and stuff, in the hardest league in the world. Some might argue it's Celtic and Rangers. That is like a very, very low quality league. So, in regards to politics, it is, but in regards to, football ability, it's not. You have championship players playing for Rangers and things like that. So I would say that Liverpool against Man United is the biggest game in British football, if not one of the biggest in European football. And I would say that we should not be fearful of Liverpool. We should not be worried about what Liverpool bring. I'm not worried about what Liverpool. I know Liverpool are a great team. I'm not going to say that. I know they're a great team. It's, they're going to give us a difficult game. We know that. We've always had difficult games at Anfield. When we're at our pomp, when we're at our best, we've always had difficult games at Anfield. And this is just the way it is. And those who, he who dares wins, greatness wasn't built on comfort zones, all these quotes and annotations that I've been talking about over the last few weeks and months and years. This is where history is made. When we think about Liverpool, like I said this morning, you think about, John O'Shea's last minute goal. You think about all these things, don't you? You think about the great games between Man United and Liverpool, the great times Man United and Liverpool have had, and the great goals we've had, whether it was a 3-3 draw or whether it was the 1-0 win, John O'Shea, whether we drew 2-2 in 98-99 season when Liverpool tried to cost us a treble. Who knows, guys, But it is always going to be a very, very big game. And I hope that Manchester United turn up for that game. And this is where you're going to be tested, because we all know that no matter what, the games that are coming up are going to be extremely difficult for Ruben Amorim. We know it's going to be extremely difficult for Ruben Amorim. We know he's going to have a tough time if he loses one more game. Ruben Amorim needs to go at the next, I say, until Christmas without losing a game, in my opinion. I just think like that will clear off the mess, sort of clear out the rubble a little bit in regards to getting some air and getting some space between losing. People are clueless to the fact that, the context of what's happened this season and the teams that we played, pound for pound, we've had the hardest start of the season, the teams we played, and we know we've got Liverpool coming up as well. In the first 10 games you've played Arsenal, you've played Man City, you've played Liverpool and Chelsea in the first 10 games. So 40% of your games in the opening 10 games of the season are teams who finished in the top 4. You know what I mean? And this is what we're talking about, and the champions. So this is what we're talking about, guys. 40% of our opening games of the season. And this is what we mean, guys. It's been a difficult start. And if we can get out of that Liverpool game unscathed, I think then we can go on. Ultimately, even if he draws against Liverpool, Man United are going to be judged not on that game. They're going to be judged on Brighton. They're going to be judged on West Ham, Newcastle, Tottenham. These games they're going to be judged on. Of course they are, because those are the games that, you know, we have struggled notoriously over the last few years, especially the last year. We've struggled in those games. Brighton, a bit of a thorn in our side. They're one of those teams as well. Newcastle, we're not doing well recently against them, even though we had a great record against them with them many years ago. But this is what I mean. Like, he's going to be ultimately judged on these games, not just the game against Liverpool. The game against Liverpool is important. I think it's very important that Man United try their best to at least get a draw out of that game. If they can get a draw out of the game, then we think, okay, we played Chelsea, we played Liverpool, we played Arsenal, and we played Manchester City. And you know what? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. So yeah, we move on and we go on from there, guys. The thing for me is that many people didn't predict that Man United will get in the top 4 this season, top 6 this season. And we played top 6 teams. And when we lose to them, it's like, oh my goodness me, Man United losing to them, even though they predicted that Man United won't get in the top 6 this season. I actually believe Man United have an opportunity here. We have an opportunity here. And this is why I bring in the word scared. I do believe that the media are scared of Manchester United. And the reason they're scared, they're scared about their own ego. They're scared about Man United resurgence. They're scared about the beast awakening. That's what they're scared of, because a successful Man United will go against everything that they are preaching over the last few years. You know, they do not want a resurgent Man United. They do not want a successful Man United, because ultimately it will make them look stupid, won't it? If Man United come back all of a sudden and start winning games and start winning trophies, then what they're going to do? How can they do it? They might have to muster a little bit of a compliment in there, wouldn't they? I haven't seen any compliments yesterday about Ruben Amorim. I haven't seen any mainstream media talking about Seny Lamens. I haven't seen any mainstream media talking about Benjamin Sesko. I've seen fans and fan channels talking about them and content creators talking about them. I haven't seen any mainstream media commercial outlets talking about how we won the game and it was a good win for Man United, considering that where Sunderland are in the league and how they started in the league. So look, you know, we have to stick by ourselves. We have to stick with each other as Manchester United fans. We have to stick by each other, and we shouldn't fall for the bait in regards to the media, because they're always going to dislike us. They don't want us to win. Let me tell you that right now. They don't. And so we back our manager, we back our players, and we keep going with the Liverpool game next, guys. And I think that is what is the most important thing for us, of course, guys. Let me say hello to the community. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're all blessed, of course. Big up Ephraim. Let me say good morning to Ephraim. Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon, Sal. All our fans want to lose. They are called disgraceful fans. They're not fans. Fans don't want their own team to lose. Any sport, anywhere in the world. That's not classed as a fan. That's classed of they're basically a spy of the football team. That's what they are. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And guys, let me just get into a little bit of breaking news in regards to Kobbie Mainoo and the apparent January transfer away from Man United. There was rumours about Mainoo going on loan. Now, what I think about this, I don't think it's in the realms of impossibility. I don't think it is a lie. I think it's truth. Mainoo is not happy. You can tell from his body language. You can tell when he came on the pitch. And I don't blame him. I honestly don't blame Kobbie Mainoo, because I don't think Kobbie Mainoo has been treated fairly. I'll be honest with you. I felt like Bruno had another poor game in the middle yesterday. I think he had a 6 out of 10. I think he was poor. And I also think that Dalot was poor as well, and Shaw. And those 3 players that we predicted shouldn't be playing in the match yesterday, coincidentally, the surprise, were the worst players on the pitch yesterday in a great performance from the rest of the team. Now, I do understand where Mainoo is coming from. I do understand that Mainoo's a little bit disillusioned. He's got the World Cup coming up at the end of the season. I know that some people think, oh, it doesn't matter about the World Cup. Not interested in the World Cup. Well, it's very important for these players, because World Cup is where greatness is born. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, think about Michael Owen and Beckham, and this is what we're talking about. We are jeopardizing his World Cup spot. He's not in the latest England squad, not in the latest England squad. Jordan Henderson is. It makes me sick that Jordan Henderson is in the England squad. You know what I mean? That is disgraceful as it is, isn't it? That he's still in the England squad. That makes me feel like, oh my goodness me, what are these guys? What is Tuchel doing? But he's got, you can't argue, because Mainoo, who should be in the England squad, has not been playing football. He's not been playing for Man United. He needs to play first team football. And a loan away from Manchester United from January until the end of the season might not be a bad idea, But it depends on who he's going on loan to, because his ultimate goal is to get in that England team and play some football and get in that England team for the World Cup. World Cup is every 4 years, very, very important for every player that plays football, because you know what, that, as I said, that's where greatness is born, and England have a decent chance in that World Cup, I would say. So it depends who he goes to. If I was Kobbie Mainoo, I would try and find a team that is in the Champions League or in European football in the latter stages, so you can play as much football as possible and you can be in the eyes of the world more consistently, rather than going to like Wolves or Everton or something like that. And you know what, you're not going to be really shining at these teams. Or, you know, I would say he should be ahead of Jordan Henderson anyway. I don't think Jordan Henderson should be in the England squad anymore. But Man United have been very unfair on Kobbie Mainoo. And I would admit that. I'm not one of those guys who are going to flip-flop from what I believe in. I believe in fairness in sport. I believe in it should be a fair game. You know what I mean? And I don't think we have been fair on Kobbie Mainoo, in my opinion. Big up Ephraim, by the way. Big up Sanjay. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon. Hope you're good. Good to see you. Hope you're good. I would not mind loaning Mainoo out. I mean, it depends on Mainoo, isn't it, Sanjay? It depends on if Mainoo wants to come back to Man United. That's the problem. I don't mind loaning Mainoo out if Mainoo goes to a club that is actually, you know, relatively there in Europe and stuff like that. I wouldn't think it would be a bad idea. I actually think Kobbie Mainoo suits Italian football. I don't know why. You know, maybe if he went on loan to Inter Milan or Juventus or something like that, he just reminds me of them. He's got that little bit of swagger about him. He's a little bit slower than obviously Premier League midfielders and stuff like that. I think it would suit that league. I think it's important that he goes to a club that's playing in Europe so that he can be in the eyes of the world a little bit more consistently, and he can have an opportunity to get into the World Cup squad, which is looking bleak at the moment, because look, there aren't many games in World Cup qualifiers. There's not many games, and this is another game that Kobbie Mainoo, I think it's his third squad in a row that he's not involved in. And, that's not good for Kobbie Mainoo, in my opinion, a generational talent like that. You know, Tuchel should be thinking, though. Tuchel should use his brain, and not picking Jordan Henderson, and he should just put Kobbie Mainoo regardless, in my opinion. Clearly, Amram doesn't rate him. I agree. I don't think so. Big up, Daryl. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I'm not surprised Mainoo wants out. Don't get a chance with Bruno in the midfield. Joke start him for Liverpool game. Dalot out for Dorgu. Heaven for sure sorted. I mean, as well as we won yesterday, Daryl, I always like to call out the ins and outs, the pros and cons about every single game that we play, because I think it's very important that we analyze games in a fair way. And that was always going to be one of my criticisms in regards to Ruben Amorim and in regards to Kobbie Mainoo. You know, I feel that he is drifting and he's pushing Kobbie Mainoo out the football club in a way. And I think that's unfair. I know that he likes Bruno Fernandes in that number 8 position. I haven't heard anyone say that Bruno Fernandes is good in the number 8 position, in my opinion. I haven't heard anyone say that, guys. And I don't think he is. And I think Bruno Fernandes had another poor game, an average game yesterday, playing in that number 8 position. You know, and I feel like he's ruining Mainoo's career, so to speak. And Mainoo needs to obviously pick himself up, dust himself down, because obviously he's not getting opportunities in the football team. And even no matter how well he's going to play, even if he plays well, even if he came on yesterday and had a blinder, he's going to be dropped the next game. At Man United, we pride ourselves on substitutions as well. We've had some of the greatest substitutes of all time, as we know. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is one of them. This is a different period for Man United, and I think that Kobbie Mainoo needs to find first-team football. I really do, because I don't think he's going to play against Liverpool. I don't. I think it's going to be the same team. I think even Dalot will play on the left. I know it's the wrong thing to do. I actually feel that yesterday's game should not cover over the cracks in what was a poor team selection at the beginning in regards to Dalot, Shaw and Bruno, because another team would have exploited those areas of the pitch. Now, when I think about Liverpool, for example, and I think about Mohamed Salah, and I think about him, and I think about Salah on the right, Dalot on the left, goodness me, you know what I mean? It's going to be a bit of a tough one, isn't it? So we need to make sure that we pick the right team against Liverpool. But I actually think he's going to end up picking the same team, which will be wrong, of course. Now, the stubbornness is unfair. Bruno has been playing poorly. He has been playing poorly, and he played poorly yesterday. He almost contributed to Senny Lamens getting sent off yesterday. He almost contributed to that. Can you imagine? Because of Bruno, he gets sent off. I mean, which ultimately was a fantastic performance from Senny Lamens. We ended up having Bayende back in goal or something like that. So this is what I'm talking about. No, there needs to be an element of fairness here, and there's no fair. It's not fair on Kobe Mainoo, in my opinion, and I think that we are kind of ruining his career a little bit here because he's hardly played 1 or 2 games here and there, and I think it's sad, to be honest with you, especially the talent that the lad has. And people can rewrite history. They can say that he's slow, he's this, he's that. I'm not clouded by that. I know how he performed for Man United last season. I know how he performed the season before. I know what he is. I know what he can produce. I've seen him for England. He's the only one who can really keep the ball and keep things ticking over. You don't need pace, because let me tell you something about players with pace. Cantona said it. It's called intelligent running. Kobe Mainoo is part of that intelligent running club. He has that intelligence about him where he runs when he needs to run, and he reserves his energy when he needs to reserve his energy, right? And that is what Kobe Mainoo is. He lets the ball do the work. And he's that type of player, tiki-taka kind of player. For example, you wouldn't say that Iniesta was a quick player, was fast and blistering pace. You wouldn't. He just got that ball ticking over quickly, so it gave the illusion that it's quick. And I would say this is the thing with Kobe Mainoo. And I actually just feel like it's sad what's going on at the moment. But, I wish him all the best. And if he does decide to leave the football club, obviously I'm going to wish him well. I don't think Man United will want to do that, considering that we're very, very light on midfielders at the moment. And if Bruno gets injured, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. But if Bruno gets injured, then we're going to have obviously no one there if Kobe Mainoo is no longer at the football club. Who are we going to put in that middle? And maybe we're going to play a double pivot, ain't we? Ugarte and Casemiro, which wouldn't be a bad thing, to be honest with you. At least it was solidified. Crystal Palace run has ended, unbeaten run. Oh, they've lost, did they? I didn't see they've lost. Let me just see some of the results today. I didn't see all the results today, unfortunately. I've been so busy. So, yes, Newcastle beat Nottingham Forest by 2-0, puts heaps of pressure on Ange Postecoglou. Of course, guys, Aston Villa beat Burnley by 2-1. Everton beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Crystal Palace were winning that game as well. Yeah, I saw it when it was 1-0. But they've scored in the 93rd minute. Jack Grealish, what a season he's having, guys. He might break into the England squad. Wolves 1, Brighton 1. And what's significant about Wolves 1, Brighton 1 is that Carlos Baleba was substituted on the 50th minute. Now, what do you make of the Carlos Baleba situation, guys? 100 million he was rated at the summer. And this is exactly what I said in the preseason, guys. You have to be careful about, players who've had one good season. Especially players who are valued about 100 million. Because we all remember Evan Ferguson, who used to play for Brighton and Hove Albion. We remember him, don't we? Remember that he was classed as the next Wayne Rooney and things like that. This is why it's imperative you wait. And now no one in their right mind, right this second, right now, would be spending over 50 million on Baleba. Over 50 million on Baleba. I actually feel that no one is going to do it now. This is why Brighton and Hove Albion are desperate to sell him in January. They want to sell him in January. Now, Man United, this is where Man United hold the cards now. Man United can say, well, you know what? He's not worth that much money. He's not even playing well for you, blah, blah, blah. My opinion right now, and this is my opinion right now, this very moment, okay? I would say that Adam Wharton would make a much better signing than Carlos Baleba. And I've been saying that for many, many months, if not a year. I think that Adam Wharton is the kind of player that Manchester United would go after, that Manchester United would sign. It would be Adam Wharton. I think Adam Wharton would be the perfect fit for Manchester United, in my opinion. Big up Ephraim. Big up RJ as well. Good to see you, RJ. Hope you're doing well. Palace, big peace and blessings. Thank you so much, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Liverpool game will be so nerve-wracking. It will be nerve-wracking. I've been there before. I know how it feels. I know when we had the title on the line as well. I remember we had the treble on the line once. And Liverpool gave their all and tried to beat Man United, fair enough. And Paul Ince got the equaliser and celebrated like he won the treble. I remember that. I'll never forget that. And but that's the way football is in England. You got to beat what's in front of you. And I'm always nervous when you play Liverpool, in particular at Anfield. But it's very, very important that we handle the atmosphere. We did last season. In fact, we should have beat Liverpool last season. We drew 2-2, should have won 3-2. The open goal for Harry Maguire, he should have scored that. My goodness me. Would have been euphoria. It's about time we booked them to the sword. It's about time we beat Liverpool. We haven't beaten them in a while, of course, at Anfield in particular. I can't remember the last time we won at Anfield. Maybe it was Rooney all those years ago. Was it Juanfield? One of them ones, of course. I want to beat Liverpool so, but I think many people do. I think all Man United fans want to beat Liverpool. If a Man United fan don't want to beat Liverpool, then I don't think they're Man United fans, to be honest with you. Baleba should have forced a move in August. He should have done. He's his own worst enemy. Do you know what I mean? But you know what? You make your bed, as they say. Good afternoon, Marky Mark. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Afternoon, Sound of Community. How are you doing? I'm very well, my friend. Good to see you. Better for seeing you, of course. It felt good to feel calm about a goalkeeper that you brought up months before they came for him. Thank you so much, Marky Mark. You know what? I mean, I got criticised left, right, and centre when I was talking about Senny Lamens. The first time I broke Senny Lamens was actually back early 2024. When people could scroll back when I was talking about a young goalkeeper. I spoke about him and talking about his assets and stuff. And who's this? We don't want another young goalkeeper in the club. We don't want any of this. But you know, when you watch football and you analyse football and you see a goalkeeper, it's very easy to analyse a goalkeeper. It's very easy to understand their flaws, their weaknesses, and their strengths, you know? And I saw the biggest thing I saw about Senny Lamens is what we saw yesterday. Assertiveness, assurance, calmness, authority, collecting the ball, taking initiative. And this is what I would say. And then I saw all the rumblings on social media about, Senny Lamens doesn't come for crosses. You saw it yesterday that Senny Lamens comes for crosses, doesn't it? And this is what I'm talking about, you know. But absolutely delighted. Good for Manchester United. Most importantly, you know, it's good for Manchester United at the end of the day. And I'm happy, you know. Big up, Marky Mark. It's good to see you, my friend. I hope you're having a fabulous Sunday, of course. You can tell that absolutely. APN, win or lose, Sky Sports never leaves Amram alone. They won't leave Amram alone. APN, I can actually believe that if Man United went to Anfield, right, after the international break and beat Liverpool, I actually think they'll find something else about the shirt he's wearing or the trainers he's wearing, you know what I mean? Or the way he drinks his water bottle. You know what I mean? They're going to find something about him and they're going to say, do you look at his posture? You know what I mean? Look at his body language. You know, and this is what they do. This is what they do. And they're slandering him at every given moment. And yesterday they slandered him. He shouldn't be saying things like that. You know, I didn't even read the quote. I just saw the tweet and I was like, oh my goodness me. You know what I mean? Just please stop it, mate. Listen, they're trying to cancel the way he speaks. He's being himself. We won the game against Sunderland yesterday. If Arsenal won that game 2-0, no one would be flattening an eyelid. They'd be talking about, oh, yes, Arsenal challenge from the league, blah, blah, blah. Look, guys, I said it. We can go on a 5-game winning run right now, right? We can go on a 5-game winning run. They'll find something to criticize Ruben Amorim about. It's Manchester United at the end of the day. If Gareth Southgate goes to Manchester United, they'll still find ways to criticize Manchester United. They don't like Manchester United. Ultimately, that is what it is. It's nothing to do with the manager. No matter what manager walks into this football club, they're going to find faults in him, of course. Bilal, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. What's up? What good, what good, I hope you're good, brother. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well yesterday. But the question is that will we be able to carry the momentum in the next few games? Now, look, Bilal, you know, football's all about momentum. Football's all about confidence. I'm hoping that this win will give us a little bit of confidence and give us a little bit of momentum. But as I said, after the Burnley game, and the Chelsea game, in fact, I won't be confident until we go on a winning run and start winning at least 2 in a row. If we can win the next game against Liverpool, that would signify a huge thing. Of course, guys, it is a difficult game, though, I would say, you know. But I know that Man United have got the habit of turning up in some games and got a habit of not turning up in other games. And this has been the problem with Man United, not only this season, many, many years now, that we don't go on these winning runs. Very rarely we go on these winning runs. I think the last one was Erik ten Hag, I think a couple of years ago. But I do believe that, you know, we can turn a corner. I think there's a couple of changes there that will make a huge difference, and not least the goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper is underestimated how important goalkeepers are. I mean, I cannot stress how important like people like Peter Schmeichel and Edwin van der Sar were for Manchester United. Absolutely imperative, crucial for Manchester United. You know, without Schmeichel, we wouldn't have won what we won over the 90s and things like that. And I think that, as with Van der Sar as well, Van der Sar during the Champions League winning season, so important. Like, you know, what Van der Sar gave me, it was calmness. It's exactly what Lamens gives me. I can see him playing against Liverpool, and I can see him having a calm game. I really can. And when I look at the game against, I brought it into the conversation this morning. When I look at the game against Sunderland yesterday, and Lamens came out and he collected the ball. He went on the floor and he held the ball like that. Harry Maguire went up to Sonny Lamens and gave him a pat on the back and pat on the head. And Lamens was like, just go away. I liked that about Sonny Lamens. No nonsense. I'm here to do a job. You know what I mean? That's what it is. I sound like Roy Keane, but he's here to do a job. And that's what it was. And that's what I liked about him. You know, no nonsense, shouting at the defenders, demanding respect. And that is what I would say about it. You know, he demands respect, and I like that about him. Dalot is very bad. He is indeed, especially a left wing back. And this is what I would say about it. You know, if we got Baleba and Wharton, it would be very, very nice. But Baleba's got to pick it up. I don't think Man United will sign him if he carries on playing like this. He's ruining these opportunities by not playing well for Brighton. You look at Gui, for example, at Crystal Palace. You know, Gui lost his opportunity to go to Liverpool. It fell through because Crystal Palace couldn't buy another player. So he ended up missing out on his opportunity. You know, and unfortunately, fortunately for him, for Crystal Palace, he's played well this season. He's been brilliant this season. With Baleba, he's not. You know, and this is the character. This is what I'm talking about, character. If you drop your performances as a player who wants to play for Man United, has aspirations of playing for Manchester United, you need to keep up the levels. You need to carry on playing football and show respect to your teammates. That's what it's all about, because we don't want a player who throws his rattles out of his pan and becomes a crybaby. We don't want that. And this is exactly what we're talking about, mentality and culture. You know, we don't want any more crybabies. You know, Adam Wharton's a different story, of course, but there are plenty of midfielders out there that we could obviously target. Anaraj, good afternoon. How are you doing, my friend? Are we doing well? We should definitely target a midfielder in January transfer window. Yeah, I think we will. Look, even if we get a stopgap, Anaraj, you know, even if we get a stopgap, even if we get a Ruben Neves on loan, for example, where we've been linked to Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves is currently in Saudi Arabia at the moment. Even if we get a Ruben Neves on loan, I think that will be decent. It will get Man United through. I do believe Mainoo's going to go. I've got a feeling. I've got this feeling, Anaraj. Some may disagree. I've got a feeling that Kobe Mainoo will leave and we'll bring in a loan like Ruben Neves or something, which I don't think will be a bad thing, in my opinion. Obviously, it will affect Bruno Fernandes, of course. So, obviously, that is another story, of course. But if we do lose Kobe Mainoo, we need another midfielder to cover the spot that is vacated. No? Ephraim, Sal, do you think Konya will start next game? No. Whatever's happened to Konya this season, we got to give him time. He started the season pretty well, but he's faded off a little bit. He did have the injury, of course. We got to give these players a chance. We have to give him a chance. There's obviously a great player in Konya. But this is different to Wolverhampton Wanderers. I believe Konya is a great player. I think he's a fantastic player. But what's even more important is that Konya is a great player to have in the squad as well. You know, it's not just about him starting every game. We need to play players that are good for the occasion, good for the game. Like, for example, in my opinion, everyone knows I don't jump to the highest tower and start screaming at Mason Mount is the best, because I'm not the biggest Mason Mount fan. People know that about me. But what I would say is that what Mason Mount will bring in the Liverpool game is a little bit of control, right, in that middle. And he can drift into midfield as well and contribute in there. If the game is going pear-shaped, if it's not going well, then we can go and bring in a Konya to come on as a substitute. And I think that will be good. Big up, Danny B. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you again, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, of course. Scored a dagger. Big up Everton. Big up Everton for winning the game. Great start for Everton this season, guys. Well. I mean, a lot of people would have said after they left Goodison Park that Everton would have been struggling. Well, they're not struggling, are they? They are doing pretty well indeed, guys. Absolutely. Kenny, it's just frustrating we get beaten fair and square by Brentford. We got beaten fair and square by Brentford. We should have lost 5-1, 6-1, mate, as we said the other day. Again, what annoys me the most, Kenny, if I'm going to say anything about Ruben Amorim, is the fact that why didn't we play Lenny Yoro? Why did we do that? Why didn't we play Lenny Yoro? Drives me mad. Why didn't we play Sonny Lamens? You know what I mean? I guarantee you, Kenny, if we played those two players, we're winning that game or drawing that game. Minimum, we're drawing that game. We're not losing that game. I think about it now, and I think about the way the goals went in, etc. Obviously, we were attacking on the third goal, so they caught us on the break. So I would say that third goal wouldn't have happened. The first goal wouldn't have happened. Definitely not with Lenny Yoro back there with his pace. And that is the biggest criticism I get. And there's always an Achilles heel. There's always a piece of meat stuck in your teeth, right? In regards to Ruben Amorim. And even yesterday, he brought on Maguire, moved Maguire into the centre-back position and moved De Ligt into the right centre-back position. And I thought, why is he doing that? What is going on here? I do not understand the infatuation, the obsession with Harry Maguire. I don't. I think he's a great person. I think he's a good leader. I don't think he's a good footballer, though. Ultimately, that's what's the most important thing, isn't it? If he is a good footballer, I don't think he's a good footballer, in my humblest of opinion. And I think that he shouldn't be brought on every single game. I don't know why he's brought on every single game. I look at the likes of Xerxes. Look, you know what I would prefer, guys? If Ruben Amorim wants to make a change in defence, right? Right? Okay, bring on Kalungi. Bring on Fredrickson. Bring on someone for the future that we're thinking, you know what? At least he's brought him in. I remember back in 1998. And I hate to scroll back many, many years ago, guys, but I remember 1998. And I remember when we brought through Wes Brown. We just lost the league to Arsenal. And then we started to drift in Wes Brown as a substitute, as a defender. And we thought, oh, that Wes Brown, he looks pretty good, doesn't he? Looks pretty good. And then in the 98-99 season, became a very important player for Man United and obviously became a legend for Manchester United. And this is what we're talking about. If Ruben Amorim wants more fan base to be on side, the fan base need to see a plan. They need to see a plan. They need to see something that is going to think, you know what, for the future. Do you know what I mean? And that's what people want, you know? Baleba, another stinker today. It could be on his way to United in January, maybe, but definitely, Kenny, then Man United are not going to be spending 100 million on him. That's for sure. Especially now, it is detrimental to his character, the way he's been playing, because we obviously know that his head has been turned for Man United. You don't go from there to there. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, at the flip of a coin. I think his head has been turned by Man United, and I think that it's up to him in regards to his character to pick himself up. Do you know what I mean? Class goal for Rashford here. Happy for him because he's going to be leaving, of course, to go to Barcelona, hopefully. Sevilla versus Barca, good game. Absolutely. Let me just see something. Just reading this tweet. 1 second. Liverpool will be a test for us. I hate the fact that it's international break. I agree. Yeah, me too. Dalot was against us every single game. I mean, I don't know why. Look, you know, I don't like to bring in anything sinister in regards to Manchester United and players and any players like, because I actually think that Dalot is a good bloke. But what I would say is that he's just not a good player. And that ultimately is what we need, isn't it? Good players, you know, at the end of the day, you know. Big up everyone for Singapore. Big up, Pearl. How you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again, Pearl. Good to see you. RJ, I don't think Manu is good enough, Sal. A loan would help him. I think he is good enough, mate. He is good enough, RJ. He's good enough to play in European Cup, European Championship final. He's good enough to play for Manchester United, isn't he? I think he is good enough. I don't think that's fair. He's a good enough player. And he's a better midfielder than Bruno Fernandes because he's actually a specialist in that position, in my opinion, guys. He's actually a specialist in that opinion, guys. And that's what I would say, you know. But one thing I think people are ignoring, I think that we really, really miss Licha Martinez's influence. I think we do. I think Licha Martinez is one of those players that he carries you through. And he did last season in the Liverpool game, if you remember, he carried us through, you know, at the end of the day. And I think we miss him a lot. And unfortunately, he's been one of our best signings post Sir Alex Ferguson, you know, and he hasn't played enough football, sadly. Ruben Amorim needs to make choices. We can either think in the past or we can think in the future. Luke Shaw, Dalot, Bruno should not be playing. Bruno shouldn't be playing in that position. etc. Do you know what I mean? We go on about that. But Ephraim, Sal, did you see Bruno arguing with a manager on a touchline? His antics affect the team. Maybe we have to change the captain. I saw many things for Bruno yesterday, which I didn't like. There was a cross came in and it was far away from Sesko, and he started throwing his arms around. I don't like the petulance. I really don't, because in Man United, we always take accountability for ourselves. And that is how all winners should be doing things. You take accountability for your own performances. And I don't think that Bruno Fernandes is taking accountability for his own performances. Do you know what I mean? I think he's actually being petulant and being defensive. And I don't think that he is a good representation. Of course. Shakti, good afternoon. Amram needs a workhorses in his system to make it work, and Kobe isn't that guy. I don't know that. Well, Bruno certainly isn't that guy, because Bruno goes missing and he's ill-disciplined, Shakti, in that position. Kobe is a workhorse. People are just using that against him. You know, he is a workhorse. He hasn't hardly played to even be judged as a workhorse or not a workhorse. You need to be fair in these conversations. You know, Bruno's gave away 3-4 goals this season and hasn't been dropped. So where do we go from here? He almost got Senny Lamens sent off yesterday with his antics. So what I would say is that it's unfair on him. Kobe Mainoo doesn't go from a generational to what he is now. You don't. The fact of the matter is he's got low confidence. He's not playing football, and we're not giving an opportunity. It's very easy now to be throwing things out there, accusations about Kobe Mainoo. He's not good enough. He doesn't work hard enough, and blah, blah, blah. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. He does, right? It's just that the fact that Ruben Amram prefers Bruno for whatever reason. And that is what it is. You know, we don't need to slander players to add a point, to add weight onto our opinion. Do you know what I mean? He works hard. I'm an England fan. I've seen him for England. Brilliant for England. Got to England to the Euros final. Brilliant. You know what I mean? Big up. Got a yellow card as well. Absolutely. Big up, Daryl. Big up. Everton winning. Everton have got a good season so far, haven't they? Hello, Jadosi. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I hope you're doing good. Johnny, I was on the United Stand comment section. Mark was actually receiving hate for saying that he doesn't blame Mainoo for wanting to leave, as Amram is ruining his career. I would agree with that, Johnny. I agree 100% with that. Because I don't believe, Johnny, that Kobe Mainoo is playing based on form, based on because he hasn't played. There's favoritism going on, Johnny, and that's what it is. Ruben Amram had a fantastic game yesterday. Ruben Amram's in-game management was spot on yesterday, by the way, and we give him credit for that. But I'm not going to hide the fact and sugarcoat the fact that Bruno shouldn't be playing the number 8. Mainoo needs an opportunity here. And in a way, managers will die on their sword. Managers will always pick the players that they feel is their players. He obviously isn't feeling Mainoo. He obviously isn't feeling Kobe Mainoo. He obviously isn't a fan of Kobe Mainoo. I just feel like the problem with the reason, it's the reasoning for me. And that, because not liking a player, not preferring a player, that's fine. But it's the reasoning for me. It's the fact that he doesn't want Kobe Mainoo to play because Bruno plays in that position. He wants Bruno in that position, and it's his guy, Bruno. And I think that is where we get into the realms of sportsmanship and being fair and things like that. And I wish Kobe Mainoo all the best. I do, right? I do wish Kobe Mainoo all the best. I hope he goes from strength to strength. I hope he goes on loan, and I hope he absolutely smashes it. I really do. Absolutely. Crystal Palace lost today. Yes, Chidozi. They lost 19 games unbeaten. Oh, guys, they've had a really good run, haven't they? They've had a really good run. They've done really well, guys. RJ, Sal, there's something about Cunha that makes me feel that he's going to be a good player for us. Attitude, mate. Attitude, work ethic. Actually playing for the badge, which I think he does. Wants it. He wants it. You can tell he wants it. You can tell he really wants it, Mount must stay injury-free. I think all of our players must stay injury-free. Every single one of our players is going to have a huge role to play until the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? Guys, Sal, we need Leacher back. I do not see how Neves at the back. Sal, we need Leacher back. Nerves at the back. Yeah. Nerves at the back. I do not see how Shaw. Luke Shaw shouldn't be playing anymore, in my opinion. I mean, that's where I get into the debate about Luke Shaw and about looking the future of Man United and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Big up Yasser TV. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, brother. Hope you're well. Good to see a Chelsea fan in the stream, guys, by the way. A good one as well. Big up the chat. Big up Yasser TV. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed, my friend. And congrats on the win against Liverpool. I would have preferred a draw because in my delusional world of Manchester United, I still believe that we can catch the top four, right? And that's what I believe, guys. So I would have preferred a draw because that would have meant that we take 2 points from Chelsea and 2 points for Liverpool. Unfortunately, that's just life at the end of the day. Lucien Agume playing versus Barca here. Great player, Lucien, of course. Haaland, man, he's inevitable, man. Haaland is inevitable. Yeah, Haaland will always score goals, man. I mean, that guy. I mean, how we missed out on him that time when, when he actually came to Carrington. And I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knew him as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a friend of his and things like that. You know, how we actually. Oh my goodness me, it's mad, isn't it? Mainly should be given time. Still too much favoritism on Bruno. I agree with that. This is my opinion, Kenny. I don't mind him having his favorites. I don't mind him saying, right, Bruno's my guy. Even though he doesn't play a number 8, I'm going to play him a number 8. And that's it. Whether that's pressure from the top, whether that is just himself and his favorites, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I do not believe for 1 second that Kobbie Mainoo, who is known as a generational player when he first broke into the scene, can all of a sudden become this terrible player. The fact of the matter is, he's a young player and he hasn't been given a fair crack at the whip. He hasn't been given a chance at Manchester United. The chances that he should have. Because it's not like that Bruno Fernandes is absolutely killing it. He's brilliant. My goodness me, look at Bruno, absolutely special. It's not, is it? Bruno's given away 3-4 goals this season for Man United. And he was probably one of our worst players yesterday in a team that relatively played well yesterday, right? So I just feel like Kobbie Mainoo, I want to see him start some games, you know. Now we're looking at it. Look, I remember when Kobbie Mainoo starting against Liverpool. I've seen him start against Liverpool. I've seen him start in the midfield against Liverpool. And we've done very well as well. Done very well. And I just feel like that his career has been deleted for some reason with Ruben Amorim at the helm. And I just feel like we need to try and fit him in somewhere, you know. Guys, we all know that Bruno Fernandes is not a guy who's going to be in the midfield, you know, and he shouldn't be in the midfield. We know that. And games against Sunderland and teams like that, yeah, you can get away with it. You know what I mean? But when you're going to go to Anfield, you know, and other grounds, like when we go to Brighton, when we go to Newcastle, when we go to Tottenham, which we've got coming up, guys, thick and fast, that is when you're ultimately going to be judged, you know, and I don't see that midfield really holding out, to be honest with you. Guys, absolutely not. Johnny, I don't agree with Mark all the time, but he is spot on about Mainoo and the situation the commentators were using the attitude excuses when the funny thing is Mainoo has been professional. Mainoo has been professional, unlike certain players. As we know, certain players that people like to big up, Player FC and stuff like that, who currently on loan at Barcelona and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Good luck to them. I hope Barcelona buy Rashford, by the way. 40 million. Thank you very much. Although Barcelona are trying to screw us with about 10 million. They're trying to screw us out of 10 million. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. I think, look, one thing about Mark Goldbridge, I've known him for 7-8 years. We know each other, met him. One thing about Mark Goldbridge is I like him in regards to his opinions because they're very balanced. Like me, Mark Goldbridge will call out things that are wrong. He would also call out things that are right, even if it goes against what he believes in regards to the manager and stuff like that. Now, I said a very long time ago, I'm not one of those guys who have this opinion, and I'll stick by this opinion, like an extremist opinion. I'm Amorim in, I'm Amorim out. That's why I am. No one's going to turn me against that. And that's exactly what, and I told you as well, Johnny, that's exactly what I am. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. I look at context. I look at everything around it. So when it's time to criticize somebody and when it's time to be fair, the honorable thing to do is to call it as it is. And I'm calling it as it is. I feel Kobe Mainoo's been treated unfairly. That's what I think. Whether people rate him or not, no one could turn around to me and start telling me about the way he plays. He doesn't work hard enough and attitude and blah, 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 because he hasn't had a chance to show that this season. You know what I mean? Yes, he had a poor season last season. He had injuries last season. And we remember he had the only game I remember him actually playing well was the Lyon game when he came on and he changed the game, of course. But I still believe there's a player in there. And I think that with coming from our academy as well, that is very important. He comes from our academy. And I think that we need to stow him a little bit more, give him a little bit more time and give him a little more game time, Kenny, Cunha will be better. Can't wait for these slags to shut the hell up about Cunha. Absolutely, Kenny. Look, guys, this whole reactionary kind of mentality in football, it drives me mad. It does drive me mad. And 1 minute you're this, the next minute you're that. 1 week you're this, the next week you're that. It's a bit like, Liverpool fans these days, they're only 2 points from Arsenal at the end of the day. And world is falling down, Cunha is a great player. And he will come good for Manchester United. Absolutely. Just needs time. This is his biggest move in his career. People don't understand this. This is Cunha's biggest move in his career. He's played for Wolves and teams like that, and he's one of those players who've had a career that has been very scattered. It hasn't really worked out to the way he has, of course. Rashford playing so well for Barcelona. Good for us. Absolutely. Mulder, he was the manager there. Then Haaland was their brother. Yeah. And he went to Carrington as well. Did you know that, Daryl? He went to Carrington and he didn't sign for Man United. The same as Bellingham. Bellingham did the same and he didn't sign. We didn't do the deal. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said sign Haaland and they didn't do the deal. Glazers, Murto, Woodward. There we are, guy. Butterfly effect. What would have happened? One question I would like to bring, if Sir Alex Ferguson had 10 more years at Man United, what would Man United's team look like right now? That is a question I would like to know, Ephraim, Sal, when we played Liverpool last year, which midfielder combination was started? I think it was, and let me see this, guys. Let me just see this. Let me have a look. Let me know, actually, because I can rely on Kenny. Kenny's all day long. Kenny will give me that. Last time, I think Amram started the Mainoo in a pivot against Liverpool, which we drew. There we go. And guys, exactly. And we controlled that game, by the way. We went toe-to-toe with Liverpool, didn't we, Kenny? And in the end, if it wasn't for Harry Maguire, missed opportunity, we would have won that game 3-2, at Anfield. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. We drew 2-2 in the end, but we would have won the game 3-2. Darn it, he's going to play Bruno, isn't he? I mean, not going to. The thing is that he's going to play Bruno. It's not going to work. We're going to end up going back to default settings. We'll end up losing the game, and then here we go again with the negativity and Ruben, get him out of my club brigade and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean, guys? Absolutely. Yes, I'm worried about Bruno Casemiro pivot versus Liverpool. You should be, RJ, but listen, we're Man United. We believe. You have to believe. You never know, isn't it? Inshallah. You never know, isn't it, RJ? That's what it is at the end of the day. We will be, and nothing is guaranteed. The world doesn't deal in absolutes. And we have to understand that you never know in football. It's Man United against Liverpool, the biggest rivalry in English football, if not British. And look, Liverpool not in the best way. It's international break. I know we haven't done well after an international break, but Liverpool got international break as well. Let's not forget that. JSN, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Mainoo can be that guy. He needs to learn that he is young and he needs to focus on development and he needs someone who can learn from, someone who can take him under his wing. Great comment, GSN. First time I've seen you on there. That's a good comment. I actually believe that too. I actually believe that there is a great player in Kobe Mainoo. Is Kobe Mainoo the finished article? No, he's not. But he's still very, very young, and he burst onto the scene a year or so, a couple of years ago, and was absolutely phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? And I would say that, someone under his wing, but that guy is not Bruno Fernandes. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is the sort of guy you look up to. I think Bruno Fernandes is the sort of guy that would push your nan down the stairs. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. He'll put your arm around you and push your nan down the stairs. He put your arm around your nan and push her down the stairs. Don't push your nan down the stairs, by the way. But that's what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? Something along that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy. I think what Manu needs is support. What Sir Alex Ferguson did, which was so brilliant, is that he understood characters. He understood different players and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And he knew players who needed the arm around them. He knew players that needed a rollicking. He knew players like that. You know what I mean? And I think that he deserves a chance. I think he does. I think he does deserve to work. Put his head down, work hard. I'm sure he does. You know, I'm sure he is working hard. But I think he deserves more of an opportunity than he's getting right now. Great comment, JSN. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Of course. Someone like Stiller or Edison. What's happened to Edison, by the way? Yeah, Man United heavily linked to Edison over the last couple of years. Stiller's a brilliant player. Stiller's brilliant. I really wish we got him. You know, some people, again, were saying, pace merchants. Stiller's a great player. I mean, linked to Man United many times on Stretford Post, of course. I think I was the first one to talk about Benjamin Stiller. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But yeah, let's sending amends. But yeah, look, guys. Look, he needs someone there. But whilst we still have Bruno Fernandes there, GSN, he's not going to get an opportunity, you know. And this is my biggest downer in regards to it, because I do believe there's an element of favoritism going on, my friend, and that's what I would say. Daryl, obviously, bro, I know that if Sir Alex was still there, the team would be a madness. Bloody hell, it would be madness. Let me give you we should really do a prediction. If Alex Ferguson stayed until his 80s, okay, and what would our team be right now? Let me give you two players that I think will be at Man United right now. Number one, Harry Kane will be at Man United right now. Trust me on that one, right? Number two, Adam Wharton will be at Man United right now. 100%. I actually think that Haaland will be at Man United too. Kane and Haaland. My goodness me. Goals galore. Imagine that. Dalot certainly won't be at Man United. That's the thing. Kenny, speaking of the devil, on the left, wing back, be scary against Salah. It's going to be madness. He's going to have a field day, mate. He's going to have a field day, Salah. You know, if he plays Dalot on the left, which I think he will play Dalot on the left, to be honest, guys. I think he will. Hello, Ellen. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. Mazrui are back after the break, I think. Is he match fit, though? Is he match fit? Is he going to be match fit? That's the one, guys. Is he match fit? 80s is diabolical. 80s, what? What is diabolical about the 80s? 80s was I was young in the 80s, very young in the 80s. I was a child. A kid. Actually toddler. Hello, Sal. Hope you're well. Big up, Gary. How you doing? Hope you're doing well as well. Hope you're blessed. It's good to see you on this Sunday night, guys. Guys, it feels good that we won a game at the end of the day. I'm delighted we won a game. I feel good. I feel like there's no one coming on these streams. Get the fraud out and blah blah blah. And you know what? Lewandowski missed pen. Should have let Rashford take it, shouldn't they, guys? Should have let Rashford take it. Absolutely, he would have put it in the net. Look. I will be doing, guys, more watch-alongs in the future. I will be doing more, obviously. Where I am at the moment is a place where I can't really be too vocal and stuff like that throughout the night. I'm 3 hours ahead of you guys in the UK, 2 hours ahead of Europe, and 4 hours at the end of this month. I'm going to be 4 hours ahead of UK, 3 hours ahead of Central Europe. So I'm in the Middle East at the moment, so I'm hours ahead of everyone. You know what I mean? So it becomes difficult to watch 8 o'clock games and 9 o'clock games and things like that. So, but you know, eventually when I get my own space in that, I've got a little bit of a space now. I'm building up a new studio. When that's ready, I'll be doing a lot more watch-alongs and stuff. I'll be fitting in more shows, guys. I'll be religious on this thing. Guys. Absolutely. Roger hooked off. Rodri, bloody hell. He is injury prone now. It just takes one injury, doesn't it, Kenny? It does take one injury to ruin everything, and that's a bad one for him. Imagine we signed Lewandowski. We probably would have done that, Chow, under Sir Alex Ferguson. We probably would have done that. We nearly did. You know, we probably would have done it eventually. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me. Really appreciate you. Appreciate everyone that is new. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys, if you're new. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys, as well, and put your notifications on. I will go live if anything breaks, of course, guys, regardless of the time, even if it's 3 a.m. And I am live tomorrow for Breaking Dawn, 7 a.m. UK time, every single day, guys. So don't forget that. Guys, smash a like. Got to get to 50 likes today. That is what it's all about. Smash a like. Let's keep building. Support the people in the chat. Support their channels. Keep supporting, guys. Show some love. And also, guys, Chatterbox tomorrow. All right? Not Chatterbox. Yeah, Chatterbox tomorrow and Breaking Dawn tomorrow. Same old, guys. Glory, Man United. I'll see you. If nothing else breaks, I won't see you today. But if not, I'll see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Early morning, Breaking Dawn in. Take it easy, guys. Bless up. I'll see you soon. Peace.